Yeah, I mean, I guess just to sort of wrap it up, I wanted to just circle back to something that you talked about in the very beginning, and I just wanted to touch on like how you are marketing yourself and getting more and more exposure and bringing in these leads who would be purchasing like a book a day or getting on your list, of course. Um, you have a YouTube channel.
Hmm.
You do email marketing. What is like what is your routine? Where are you actually investing your time and dollars and resources to like make sure that more potential clients are finding you? And also like this ties back to like, you are attached to ConvertKit in terms of your branding. So like how much does that play into how and I'm sure ConvertKit sends you
Hmm.
clients as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
how does it all kind of fit together?
Yeah. I mean, truth be told, it had historically been Twitter, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that. I don't have a blog. I do have a YouTube channel. Um, you know, for me, ConvertKit is probably about 70% of my audience. They're ConvertKit customers, or at least moving towards ConvertKit in some way. And you know, the Twitter X aside, whatever things going on over there, but for me, it's really just about connecting with creators and people
Mm-hmm.
that are trying to build online businesses. And so, what I've always found too is communities, whether it's free, paid, otherwise, just going in there, giving value because these are business owners also that are trying to scale their business and learn a little bit more and or whatever the case is, depending on the community that it is, there's always a ton of questions. And so for me, it's like, what are the questions people are asking? How do I turn that back around and maybe create a video or a social media post or an email about it and just answer questions? And I try to funnel everybody to my email list. And that's where everything happens. And then,
Huh.
there's no way that push people to a sales page or anything like that. You get on my email list. I want to learn a little bit more about who you are and what you're about. And then give you the
Uh,
right product with the right
You know what?
message.
I was actually going to ask you about this maybe off air, but I'm just going to ask it on air because I'm really interested, and I think it'll be interesting for folks listening. I, I want to hear more about communities. Like, what is your strategy there? When you say communities, like, do you mean like you're joining private Slack groups, Facebook groups, membership sites where
Mhm.
where folks who look just like your ideal clients, that's where they're hanging out. And you're literally spending time every day reading the threads and finding the questions and then getting in there and answering. Is that
All of those things. Yeah.
it?
I
It
mean,
sounds super obvious, right? Like,
yeah.
but
I mean,
like to me, I've been in lots of these communities over the years, but like I can never find the time to
yeah.
invest
I
in
mean,
like.
truth be told, I, like you said, every day. It's not every day. Like
Mm-hmm,
yeah, there's no way, right? But what I try to do is try to find, and I've learned over the years, like kind of like what to look for and keying on, and whatever the case is, you know, just being a part of being a part, whether it's a paid community or a Slack group or a forum somewhere or whatever the case is, just like, hey, are my ideal people in there, right?
mm-hmm,
Or just looking, you know, um, looking for people that are advocates of, like you mentioned, ConvertKit. I planted my flag with ConvertKit. So the Pat Flynn's and the Chris Duckers of the world that have a large following, okay, they're promoting ConvertKit. Who are the large affiliates of ConvertKit? Where do they go and what do they have? And do they have communities? And if they do have a
mm-hmm,
community, then they're probably promoting ConvertKit inside there. And so if they're using products like influencers, I guess you could say, are using
mm-hmm.
products and they're sending their audience to those products, you'll find me there too. Because,
Hmm.
like you said, I
So
learned a
you're in
long time
there.
ago, like niching down and attach, like I did this with WooCommerce by accident, like a
Uh-huh.
long time ago. And I was like, oh, I became the WooCommerce guy. Okay. So I didn't like, totally by accident, but it was like, oh, they have customers. Their support aren't going to build custom features, but that's what I do. So
Yeah.
I'll just follow them. And so same thing with ConvertKit is like they've got people on their platform. Some people will never even look look my way, but the right kind of people for my business will, and they'll find me. And that's what I'm
How do
trying to
they
do.
actually? How does somebody from a community who might see you in a forum or a Slack or something, even though you're answering questions and being super helpful and just being active and visible, how do they know that you actually offer this as a coach and as a
Usually just
service?
ask. Like I'll get DMs or, whatever. Like, so I'm in a bunch of different circle communities,
Uh huh.
and, I'll get a message like, hey, you answered my question or whatever. Like, do you offer services or do you do this thing or whatever? Like, how do I sign
Mm-hmm.
up for your stuff? And I'll just tell them like whatever in text. They'll be like, hey, look, I offer a 1 hour coaching call. You could do that. That's a paid thing. I have a book a day service, that kind of stuff. And like,
Amazing.
it just happens like naturally just because I'm answering questions. And I like tools like Circle, and other kind of like Tribe, I think is another one, these kind of tools where there's a search mechanism in there, because usually when somebody asks a question, then my
Okay, so
thing
you can
kind of,
go look for the keywords, and you know where it's going to make sense for you to show up.
and also people coming in later, right? Like they're going to search for the thing. Like what are the
Mm-hmm.
best lead magnets, or something like that. And then like a post from a year ago comes up and my thing's there. Right. And so,
Yeah.
you know, so that's kind of why I like communities, because it's that pool of people that are already good, could be potential customers of mine.
Hey, just a quick break to tell you about Clarityflow. It's the software tool loved by coaches and their clients for communicating asynchronously in threaded conversations using video, audio, or text. My team and I designed Clarityflow for the modern day coach. It lets you give clients a single place to engage with you and all that you offer through your coaching business. Run coaching groups, cohorts, and communities using our Spaces feature. Create interactive courses using our Programs feature. Build your coaching library with templates and reusable content. And sell access to your coaching programs with subscriptions or one-time payments. Customize colors and connect your domain to give clients a fully branded experience. You can use Clarityflow on the web or our mobile apps for iPhone, iPad, or Android. And connect any other apps using our Zapier integration. Start with a free trial or request a personalized demo and consultation by going to clarityflow.com. It's super interesting. It's a channel that I still think, and I think a lot about like SaaS products and how to market SaaS, but it absolutely, of course, it works for like coaching and services. But just communities in general is one of those channels. If you think about it, like search and like SEO, like through Google and whatnot, obviously it's still really important these days, but between AI and also even without AI, just I feel like people are um, just less reliant on Google, or they trust the Google results less. I
I
know
think it's
personally for
more
me,
you
like
trust the humans more, right?
exactly
So when you're in a
like I'll go to like
community, right?
Reddit, I'll go to Reddit because I want people's opinions
Right.
on some topic. I don't want the people who have SEO optimized the top 10 pages on the internet for this thing.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, and you mentioned like how do people find you? Well, most of the time in some of the communities I've been a long time member of, I'll get pinged. Like I'll get pulled into a conversation more so than me reaching out to that answer that post or something,
Oh
because
yeah.
somebody will say like, hey, Jason's our resident email marketing guy. You need to talk to him, and they'll
Mm-hmm.
tag me or whatever in the thing. And that's usually how I'm pulled into a lot of these things. And so it's
That's
I
also a really good nugget. Like, this sort of comes back to the theme of this whole episode of where you've become known as the email marketing guy and or the convert kit guy, right? Like that's a really important branding thing, I think.
mhm.
I mean, I had it a few years back when I was doing a lot of stuff around productized services. People would ping me if the conversation is about productized services. I'm getting pinged and they're pulling me into it, right?
Mhm.
Um, these days I don't really have that anymore. A little bit with async, I think, but
Mhm.
uh, that's just a really important and really powerful concept that like if people can associate you with one word or one topic, like I think of uh, what's his name, the guy from Price Intelligently, Patrick Campbell. You
Oh,
know,
mhm.
all things pricing. You know, he's the guy. You know,
Yep. Yep.
um, yeah, super
Yeah. And,
interesting.
and, and that's why like you said, I think communities is powerful now, especially more than maybe ever, is that especially with AI coming out, people aren't really sure. Like when you got a Google result, you could click the link and kind of go to the page and be like, yeah, this is a shady page. I'm going back. Right.
Hmm.
AI looks the same. And so you don't
Yeah.
know what that answer is, if it's good or not. And one, you can't say, like, who do I hire for this? Like AI is not going to shoot that name out there. Right. At least
Hmm.
not yet. And so when it comes down to the transactional type content, which is really what I'm focused in on, like I have top of funnel stuff, but transactional content is really where, I mean, I'm in business to make money, right? And so for me, transaction happens with the humans. And so if I can create those relationships and it occurs naturally just from trust or referral or whatever the case is, then that's where I've always gone. Like I've always had, in the past I've had podcasts because the hearing of the voice. I have
Hmm.
the YouTube videos. People can see me. They can also see how I explain and teach things. And so that sort of level of content for me is most important because that's where the conversions are going to happen. Right? Like an
Hmm.
SEO, hey, top 10 things you need to do for Black Friday email marketing campaign. Yeah, great. I mean, what am I going to
Hmm.
bring with that? I might bring some subscribers, but how close to the sale are they? Right. And so
Makes total sense.